Hey everybody, this is Patrick from ExanseGaming, and we're back on here to continue our series going through all the Steam free-to-play games. Second game on our list is Rift. Rift is a MMORPG wow, good job, English, developed and published by Trion Worlds. It is probably Trion's most successful game to date right now. That's saying that's been out right now because Defiance didn't do very well. It didn't do very well at all, and I can see why. It was really made for consoles and not on the PC, where Rift was obviously made for the PC. It is what you could probably call a WoW clone, but it has kind of evolved on its own now. It plays very similar to WoW, though, and you'll see that in a little bit. The Trion Worlds is also doing a game called Trove now, which is another one of those voxel-based games. There's a lot of those coming out right now. I'm not sure how it is. I haven't played it yet, but when I do get to play some of it, I will definitely show you guys what it looks like. It could be popular. I don't know right now. Arcade is also a game they're developing, and that game has been getting a little more hype behind it recently. It's out in the Eastern Asia areas, I think, but it has not come to the US or Europe yet, as far as I'm aware. We have no release date really on when it will be available in the US, but it's a game that's looking kind of interesting. And when I get my hands on that, I'll also definitely show you guys some of that. So real quick, we're gonna run through the intro video real quick just so you guys can see that, and then we will take a look at character customization and creation, and then we'll go into a little bit of the gameplay and just talk about it a little bit. So without further ado, let's get right to the intro.
Headed for a tear.
Hurry! Where are your gods now, Guardian?
I wasn't chosen for my fate. No!
Life Rift!
Ancestor souls, your strength is mine!
The gods know the score, Defiant. Now, so do you.
Oh, also just here from the server while we were watching that. But that is the intro video for Rift. You saw one of the main mechanics in the game there, which was in fact the rifts, as they're called. They are really what defines the game, besides being another WoW clone, and they're pretty cool. You can see I have a level 22 rogue right here on the Defiant. I have a level 13 cleric on the Guardian. These are the two factions, but we'll look at that when we jump right into the character creation. So let's go to first off. Let's look at the shards, because these are basically what your WoW, in WoW terms, this is what your realms would be. These are all shards. They all have their different types. You have the PvEs, you have PvE and RP. I actually don't see PvP ones. They do not have PvP realms apparently. I actually did not know this. I thought they did have PvP realms, but it turns out they don't. PvP is done, I'll show you, similar to WoW in Battlegrounds. I believe you can do, if you flag for PvP, you can also do PvP in world, just like you could in WoW. It's really similar to WoW in a lot of ways. Let's just check out the options. You have your audio options, music. You have basically sliders for basically everything, which is kind of cool. It's definitely nice to have. Your video basics, you can set the resolution. I'm obviously running at 1080p. I also want to be running in virtual sync for this because I was getting screen tearing, so I'm going to just enable that real quick. Full screen, you have override desktop gamma, which basically you can separate, if you have your monitor set to a different gamma, then you can set it independently with the game. It'll override what the desktop is actually set to. And it only affects the game, so that's kind of nice. And then you have your, obviously, your advanced settings. I'm running it on, what I want to be running it on high right now because I was actually getting a little bit of lag in game with the recording going on in my custom settings. So we're going to set it on high. You have all your main things here. You have AA, you have things just for cloaks independently. Physics behavior for cloaks. Trilinear filtering. You have texture stuff, ambient occlusion, all your different details for basically everything. Particle, lighting, spell, texture, objects, object distance. You have basically a setting for everything. It's kind of nice to have. It's the pretty good options menu. Definitely nice to have. You can do add-ons, just like you could in WoW. I have none on here. I don't really know how to do it because I haven't played a lot recently. I played a little bit just to get myself familiar with the game again, so I can do this overview, but you can install add-ons. Other than that, let's get into the actual, I believe this is for transferring. You can transfer servers right here, and you can also transfer to the playtesting, but you can transfer if you want. But we're just going to go right into create one. I don't have character slots in the shard because you can only have 2 per shard because I haven't paid any money in the game right now. Let's go to this shard. I have a rogue in this shard. Let's do, let's just run through. Okay, let's just go through the 2 factions, I guess, first off. Guardians are your, basically what you would consider, I guess, the good guys in a way. They're your typical fantasy, holy kind of like the human kind of races that are all for their gods and everything. And you can read the little description down here. The Guardians are chosen of the gods. They brought back from death to save the world from the corruption of the dragons. Each Guardian has a great destiny to become a celestial hero. Then you have your Defiants, who are kind of like your rebels and the bad guys, kind of like they're Defiants. They're defiant of the gods. Defiants have taken fate into their own hands, turning away from the vigil to pursue their own plan. They harness the power of the planes to fuel magical technologies for the defense of Teleria. I like the Defiant story a lot better because they're a lot they're more interesting. They're not so boring. This is kind of like your typical fantasy heroes kind of thing. This is like they use like kind of steampunk-esque kind of things to do their, instead of taking like the power of the gods and all their holiness, they take it into their own hands and use steampunk-esque machines to do their work. They're a much more interesting class, I think, or faction. So then you have you have 3 races per a faction. You have, for these guys, you have the Eth, who are kind of more of like these human. They're kind of like the desert humans, so it says here, in the deserts. Clever and resourceful race, have a traditional taming of their environment and magic technology. You have your racial abilities. You have agility, which just increases your movement speed at 15 seconds by 50%. The 2-minute cooldown. You have desert dwellers birthright, which increases earth resistance because they're from the desert. These are both the same thing. There's female and male options. You then have the Kalari, which are like these, I would kind of say elves, like these kind of purple elves things. Remind me a little bit of night elves in a way. And then you have the Bami. I'm going to call them Bahmi? I don't know. These are kind of like these are more your brutes, is what I would call them. I would consider them as. You can see the female, all of them just really big and broody guys. You even got hair on the arm, look at that. So let's just go with not a Kalari, let's just go with the Eth right now. So you choose your race. You can also preview gear on low level, medium, and then like your high level gear on all the classes. They all look the same right now, actually. So let's just go to the next. You then have 4 basic classes, I would say. These are not your defined class. Each one of these, you can see each one actually has different roles they can go into. Your cleric can actually be the tank, and your rogue can be a tank too. You actually, like, these are just your 4 basically defining what you want to be. Warriors are going to be your typical warriors, but they can be 3 different kinds of warriors in a way. Mages are obviously your mages, they're your cloth-wearing spellcasters. Clerics are actually not really interesting. They're not really like the priest in this. They kind of are, but they wear like chainmail, and they're not the typical squishy cloth-wearing priest. And then you have your rogues. So I'm actually going to show you, I think, a mage for now. Let's go with a mage. Mage or Clerk, they're one of the two more interesting classes. Let's go with the Mage right now and see what we can do. So, actually, let's go in between each one of these. Alright, so your Warrior, you have the Righteous Defender, who is kind of like your tank. He is basically the tank spec. He's your tank. He's the guy meant to take a lot of damage, your beefy, kind of take all the damage guy. The Lord of War, which I actually cannot play because I believe this requires purchases to unlock. So some of these classes are locked behind a paywall. The game is free to play, but some classes and different soul trees, which are basically your talent specializations, are locked behind paywalls. I actually haven't paid in the game right now because I don't have the money to throw at the game like that, honestly. I don't have the money to throw at it. So I'll just go over, you can look at each one. You can see the little script on the side too. The Lord of War is a versatile build for PvE, PvP, and solo content. Build and guide are provided by someone over there. The Overlord is someone that you can't play for free. He is a strong warrior built that excels in damaging multiple foes at once. He's basically an AoE warrior. Passive and active healing abilities that keep them alive. So they're basically good at taking out hordes of enemies, not so good at single target damage. They also have healing abilities for themselves. The Fury Warrior is a high target single damage, so he's kind of like the Overlord, but basically single damage. And then you have the Beast Lord, which is a warrior that is a support warrior in a way, I guess. It would consider more support. He has heals and buffs, and it has a pet. But he's not your typical hunter with a pet, he's a warrior with a pet. So that makes it a little bit different and interesting. Let's go to the clerks. Your clerks, you have the Sephiric Guard, which is their tank clerk, adorned in heavy armor, and has the ability to do minor healing, but he's not really meant to do healing because he's meant to be your tank. He can do a lot of shielding abilities and kind of things like that to keep himself alive, but he doesn't have much in terms of like group healing. You then have the Lawbringer, an offensive range clerk who's good at survivability, excels at soloing but does not help, but does not achieve the same level DPS as more raid-specific builds. So he's meant for like soloing content, but he's not really good for the raiding. You have your Holy Fire Shaman, who likes to get up close and personal with enemies, excels at soloing again, but does not achieve the same level DPS. So it's kind of like this is more of a survivability and offensive range. This is more of an in-your-face clerk that's again good for soloing. The Silanus is got an interesting pet behind him, actually. He is an offensive clerk who joins forces with powerful Fey allies to punish all who would violate their cause. So, again, he has pets, but he has more of like the Fey kind of fantasy pet kind of thing. Like this guy, he looks like a satyr, but he's like a woodland satyr with an awesome looking weapon, so that's pretty cool. The Druidikar, an offensive clerk who specializes in self-sufficiency and leveling without the aid of others. Again, soloing, meant to kind of sustain himself. These clerk ones, besides like the Sephiric Guard, really aren't meant for group play. The Soul Harvester, soloing multiple enemies at once, does not deal with damage into single target or area effect build damage in a specialized build. So he's more of like a jack of all trades in a way. He's not great at AoE, and he's not great at single target, but he's good at soloing kind of groups. So he's probably one of your better solo classes. You then have the Benefactor, who is a healing cleric specialized in single target healing. They can quickly restore even though his critically wounded allies help, but have the difficulty healing numerous people at once. So he's more of like your probably a 5-man healer in a way. He's not so good at raid healing because he's not good at multiple heals, but he's good at solo target healing, which is not bad. He's one of your main healers. We can go to the mages. We have the Beginner, who is just deadly allies from the. He summons people kind of like a warlock in a way. So he's kind of more like a warlock is what he would be more like. The Leaf Blade is a survivable solo DPS mage, can heal in the group if needed. So he's kind of like a group heal in a way, I guess. You then have Reapers, who lay deadly curses on the enemy to steadily reduce them to nothing. So he's kind of like your dot. He adds dots. He kind of adds damage over time effects. The Gravelord is a defensive mage who uses undead pets and death magic. So this is probably more like the warlock than the Beginner is in a way. The Flame Caller is basically what would be a fire mage. Let's just go with that. Shadow Reaper. I don't know how he's different than the Reaper, I guess, or the Gravelord would be. Offensive mage that wields a sword. So he's kind of like the Gravelord, but just with a sword, I guess. The Summoner is, what would you expect? He's a Summoner. And then the Sage, he is someone who heals allies by dealing damage to their enemies. So he's got an interesting idea on how he heals people, which is kind of cool. And then we'll go really quickly through the rogues. It's taking a long time. So rogues, you have the Phase Walker, who could be your tank. He's definitely harder to tank with, though, because he's obviously wearing leather armor. He's not the best tank, but he can tank. The Flame Trooper, fire and death magic rogue. The Dervish, rapidly exterminating large groups of enemies, so AoE rogue. Skirmisher, range damage. Huntsman, kind of like your typical hunter. Night Stalker, basically stealth, I'm going to say probably stealth orientated. The Shadow Walker is also stealth orientated, but this is good for overwhelming their foes. This is good for fire damage, I guess. And the Vertiso, the Bard, basically. Okay, so it's a Bard. Alright, so those are all the classes. Let's go with the one that's good for soloing right now, I guess. We're going to go with, like, the... Let's go with the Holy Fire Shaman. Why not? Alright, so this is character customization screen. Character customization in this game is pretty in-depth. You can change facial features through a little slider that changes a bunch of them. You can change the face shape to more rounded and pudgy, to more square and broad, and to more of like the normal triangular face. We're going to kind of leave it normal-ish looking. Eye color can be changed very, very like customizable. It's not just set colors. You have a whole little color palette here. Let's just go with some let's go with some brown eyes right now. You can scale his eyes up and down. You have your rotation of the eyes. You can make them really funny looking. Eyebrows, all kinds of eyebrows, even no eyebrows if you want. Your nose. This is your nose thin or your nose size, so you can choose how big you want your nose. You can then tilt the nose up and down. Your mouth size. You have customization for like everything. Your hair color again is done by a palette, so you have lots of choice. Oh my gosh, and you can use a lot of palettes. Okay, so these are, okay, these are bought in game. So those are ways you can customize it even more if you buy in game using the store, which I'll show you guys later. You can then highlight the hair with highlight colors, and then you can change the hairstyles with a lot of different styles. Let's just go with that for now, though. Sure, that'll work. Markings can be done again. These are just basically markings on your hero. You can see them on the neck right now, and you can change the color of them. You can make purple markings on his neck. Why not? Yeah, we're gonna go with that. Facial hair. Typical facial hair features. Got quite a lot of them. You got some more interesting ones too, like this. That's an interesting one. We're gonna keep that now because it looks different. You can change the body color all the way from pale white to dark, and everywhere in between. Almost like a pinkish color there. Let's just go with a good neutral color kind of towards the middle. You can change his height. Let's just keep him right in the mid, and then you can do presets, but we're not gonna do presets. We're gonna try naming him as Exans. Hopefully it's available. Yes, it is. Alright, so that was the character customization. I kind of went through that really quickly because... Oh, here we go, intro video, hold on.
We couldn't stop them. Without Ascended, we just weren't strong enough. I wasn't strong enough. The Guardians branded us heretics, destroyed our machines, and left us helpless against what was coming. Invaders from the rifts swept through the world like a plague. They crushed the Guardians, and then all of Talara fell before them. In their wake came the most ancient of evils, Regulus, the Destroyer. With no one left to stand before him, he devoured everything. But there is one last hope. We survivors have made our stand and successfully engineered a new Ascended. You are our masterpiece, Defiant. The fate of Talara rests on your shoulders. You must not fail.
Alright, so that's the opening video for the Defiance. It kind of tells you how you got there and the storyline behind your side. You were not, like, reborn. You were, here's the little tutorial they give you, and then the starting area. I'm actually getting about 20 FPS here. I'm not very happy with that. Probably because a lot of the particle effects. I'm also coin locked, but I also, when you don't log on for a long time, you get coin locked. I have the code right here on my phone, though, to my email, so type that in real quick, and we'll get uncoin locked here. Let's do that real quick. I cannot coin locked. Okay, so this is the starting area. It looks pretty cool, honestly. Like, the aesthetics are, they don't hold the same charm that some do. They're very, they kind of go for the more realistic approach. You can also get little items of lore around the area like this. The books go into a separate book collection on your hotbar. I'll show you that later. You get your little tutorials here. Moving is basically done a lot similar to the way it is in WoW. WASD to move. You can use the two mouse buttons to turn, or you can just hold the right or left mouse button. And left mouse button looks, and the right mouse button would actually control your character like that, kind of like you do in WoW. Cool, this little golem guy that got up here. It's pretty cool. A lot of they do have some really cool models like this. The Defiance, I think, have a lot more of the cool looking models than, say, the Guardians do. Just because they have this more tech feel to them, as you can obviously see in here. We have mail. Let's check the mailboxes, I guess. I just got a gift for joining them through some event I played through.
Welcome back to life, Ascendant.
We have the basic quest here. You can read the quest log if you want, but I'm not going to for the idea of this video. I want to read the quest logs. This is the Defiant starting zone. Not very happy looking, is it? No. So I will try to show you. We're going to go through the starting zone a little bit, and then I'll show you a higher level character go through the rift. We'll just do a couple of quests in the starting area right now. Let's accept this quest. I have to go kill 4 of these husks, which you'll probably see on here somewhere. Kill one of you. Your fighting is done through the hotbar, like you would expect. My 2 abilities, Crushing Blows, deals basically damage. I just basically spam this ability, do damage, done. Can't catch that one. Let's just kill this one. Just beat the crap out of him. Spam 2. That just absorbs damage. I can cast that too, I guess. Absorb damage! You can see a little bar above my head is would be the damage absorption. That's my health, and then the blue outline is going to be the damage absorption that I'm taking. If you played WoW, this is really similar to looking WoW. You have your mini-map in the top corner. Your buffs and debuffs are put right here. You have the time your friend's on, and then you also have your quests that you're tracking on the side. Your XP bar, and then your hot bar. You have all your little menu options down the corner, your character portrait with your life and mana if you zoom over it, and then your enemy character, same thing. That's your targeting character, that is. And this is your bags and currencies. Let's do something. Alright, so we just finished that quest. Let's go back and check out all the currency options stuff real quick, and we'll go through the in-game store. That's a big part of the free-to-play option. So it's free to play at the base game. Everything you saw in there is what you play if you don't have money to spend on it. So I've spent no money in this game yet. Let's finish the quest, get a potion. We also leveled up. Okay, let's do this too. This is good. Look at the soul tree right now. I think I made it spend points for me, but let's go through the little options. Your player options, you have all your abilities, your achievements, your character, crafting, playing your attunements, which I believe I can show you if I go to my higher level character, your quest tree, and then your soul tree, which is the more interesting aspect of this game, and I'll show you that in a minute. Your activities, you have chronicles, which are kind of cool. I actually don't know. No, not chronicles. I don't know what chronicles are. Conquest, Instant Adventure, Looking for Group, War Fronts, and Worlds / Promo Events. Instant Adventure is a really cool idea. It's basically, you get sent into this group where you kind of do these big group-style quests to take down bosses in the open world areas, and you run across entire areas doing quests with this big group. It's kind of Zergy though, honestly. It's a big Zerg fest is what it is. Because you just Zerg around a bunch of people and do all the objectives and just move on to the next one. You get money and stuff for it. Looking for Groups, Looking for Group. War Fronts is your battlegrounds. World and promo events are if anything's going on in the world, which they're not. Conquest, I believe, Chronicles are the smaller 5-man dungeons, and then Conquest is going to be the bigger ones. You then have social. You can ascend a friend, friends, guild, guild finder, raids, leaderboards, and dimensions, which is personal housing. Your help options, your system options, macros, layouts. You can't edit everything on the screen. A lot, as you can see. There is a lot to edit. It's kind of cool though. I like that they do this because they don't make you need to get an add-on to edit your screen. You can move everything around. It's really cool. I'm not gonna do that right now because I'm not gonna screw with that right now. You then have the store. This is where the currency comes into play. This little store is the move bar on the screen. It's almost like a browser in the game. So the game is set up in a way of credits. You can obviously buy credits right here. You can see the fee for them. They start from $5 all up to $100, and then you can buy Rex, which is tradable credits in game. It's basically what would you expect here. You buy the credits, and then you can go to the home. They got a bunch of little options on here you can buy. A lot of the buying things are, you also get a daily gift, which I can just claim, and you can show what that is. You get a daily gift for logging in. The more money you spend, the higher tier you get, and the higher tier you get rewards. They call them loyalty tiers. The more you pay towards the game, and the more you pay, they give you rewards to stack up as you pay. If you get 250 loyalty, you get an experience file. If I get 1,000 or 1,500 loyalty, I will get a functionality extension. If I get 7,000 loyalty, I get a veteran's reward helm and the ability to summon a veteran vendor. If I get 2,100 loyalty, I will get a veteran vendor upgrades and a veteran's reward shoulder pad, basically. And then you move to your green tier, which gives you. This is the tier right here. This is the tier moving up to it, and it shows you the items you get up to it. And at 3,000, you'll get all of these. So they tear it up in a kind of a cool way where they give you, it's incentives to buy is what it is. They're trying to get you to buy more, but you get cool rewards for doing it. But it's a little bit questionable on if it's pay to win or not, because you do get items for it. But a lot of them are cosmetic as well, like dimension stuff and just like big bags and kind of quality of life things in a way, more so than anything. Except what is this? Allows you to summon friend function on any character, not just referred characters. Okay, so a lot of these are like, a lot of these are more so, okay, well that's not. That is what I believe, that's a costume item, never mind. Okay, so no, it's not really pay to win. That's a good system. There are a lot of costume items, cosmetic items, and then just quality of life items, and dimension stuff, and mounts, and that kind of stuff. Nothing too crazy. Okay, that's just a lot of boosts. Yeah, it's a lot of just boost, that kind of stuff. You can get services, you can get passes, which give you a huge amount of things done. You can see all the little passes they give you. They're all just little benefits for paying is what they are. To make your quality of life easier. Trade skill extensions, extended hairstyles, victory dances, all those kind of things. Those are your services, and you can go your boost, your chest, your keys. You can actually buy equipment, which could be a little pay to win. Not gonna lie. So you can buy equipment. PvP, mounts. PvP, you can buy... You have a lot of searching for this stuff, dang. I don't see it in here, though. Okay. So yeah, that's the store, basically. The store is just, it's a big list of things you can buy with the credits that you would buy. You then go to your loyalty, your wish list, again, things to your wish list, and then you go to your home. It's just a bunch of little random stuff you can buy with money. Lots of potions, lots of boosts. This is probably the biggest thing you're going to want to get is Storm Legion Souls. If you get really into this game, this is something I would definitely recommend buying. There's an expansion called Storm Legion. These souls are what are the main thing from this. The souls link to what is called the Soul Tree, which can be shown right here. This is basically your talent tree, but this is what makes you really cool. Because each of these souls is basically a different talent tree, and they unlock different sets of skills. And you can cross-spec, and then you can spec into each one individually. This is an offensive soul, you have your defensive soul, and then you have your healing soul. But you can cross-spec if you want, and hybrid, like, a lot. And it's really cool. Now, of course, the ones you saw that were locked are also unlocked when you unlock the Storm Legion Souls. Those classes that are locked are unlocked with that, and each class basically has 3 different subclasses it can be turned into. So there is a lot of customization in this game, like a lot more than I would say in WoW. You can probably tell that it does play very similar to WoW though, so it is in a way a WoW clone. If you got tired of the way WoW plays, you're not going to like this game, because it plays just like WoW. So let's log out and go to my higher level character, and I'll show you some of the higher level stuff real quick, and then we'll just say, I'll tell you my thoughts on it. So let's go to, is it Fadeblight, I believe? We're going to select. We're going to log into my level 20. This is the one I played the most time on. I'm still logged in right now. You can log that. You can't log in, you need to wait for you to log out. Okay. I need to wait for my other character to log out, it looks like. Play now? Nope. Alright, I logged out too fast. If you log out too fast, it gives you like this 20-second wait time. You have to wait to log back into your account. There we go. Alright, so we're going into the game. On my level 20. Okay, so here we are. There's actually no world event going on right now, but I am actually doing questing in an area. You can see I have a lot more hotbars opened up because I am a higher level and I actually played quite a bit in this account. I'm actually in a guild as well that I haven't done much in though. Teleport to Storm Legion. Okay, so this is the world map. The world is quite large. It's not nearly as large as it would be in, say, WoW, but again, WoW's been around for like 8 years. It's hard to compare those two things all the way. That looks like to be the world event is a level 50 zone right now, so it's nowhere near what I'm doing. I believe 50 is the max level, if I do recall correctly, because it looks like there's no levels over 50. 50 is the max level. I don't think you need Storm Legions to level up that high, but Storm Legions is definitely something you want to pick up if you can. So let's just go through. You can see your inventory, lots of crafting materials, this typical inventory. The unfortunate thing is that you are bag locked to only 2 extra slots besides your backpack. And you have to, of course, right-click, and you can buy them for 860 gems, which is kind of expensive, honestly. The currencies, you have your, this is your kind of like your character screen. Your character, you can go to stats, which is a separate screen entirely. You have your skills, currencies, your notoriety, which is basically your reputations. Artifacts is a kind of cool system. It's kind of like archaeology in WoW. There's a lot of comparisons to be made to WoW, but it works like that, in a way. You find these around the world and from drops, and when you complete them, you get little rewards for completing a set. Mounts, you can it stores your mounts. Books are cool because they're little bits of lore that you can collect from the world and then you can read. And you can read them all independently of each other, and there's little bits of lore basically. And just interesting things to read in the game if you're into that kind of thing. Your wardrobe is like costume items if you wanted to buy them. Probably for RP more so than anything. And then your titles that you can get from doing just different things. Your prefixes and suffixes to your title. So right now I am Xanta the Warden. So that's your character selection screen there. It does have a nice bit of customization to it, so that's always nice to have. Looks like we got a Dragon Pinata down there somewhere. I don't know where or why it's down there. But there's a Dragon Pinata, so that's a thing. Alright, what else to show you? Okay, yeah, so activities. The Instant Adventure is open for me, and so is the War Friends. Let's look at the War Friends screen. This is your PvP. The main focus of PvP. You can do random War Friends, and I have 7 of those remaining, and they give you bonuses for doing them. You get a War Friend equipment cache, a big boost XP and gold, and then favor. That's only given when I do like the random one, and then you can choose ones individually. So you just join randomly, it queues you like you would, what you'd expect, and then you queue into it. This is just your PvP stats. I have none this week. My lifetime of 113 kills. My favor. That's your PvP. Activities. Chronicles I'm below level 4 still, so I can't really show you those. And Planning Our Tunes I'm below level 4, but I can show you these Plan Our Focuses. These are things you get from doing the Rift events, which I can try to find one for you guys around here. Hopefully there's a Rift event somewhere. There is actually a couple of Rifts. Let me see if I can get to those. Okay, so Rift, okay, the Planning Our Focuses. These are things you collect from doing quests, and you spend these, one of the currencies I'll show you is called Planarite. And all these things are all kind of source stone things they call them, and they're spent at special vendors to get things that would affect this down here. These each do different things. Like this one I have equipped, it does 3 wisdom and 1 death resistance. It requires level 11. It's a lesser one. Now the major ones are ones you get in these slots. These are lesser focuses. These are your major focuses, and this is like your main focus. This is a big focus here. This one gives me wisdom and death resistance again. They're a little bit hard to get from the beginning game, but they're definitely nice to have. And you get better ones as you go on. Let's mount up right now and try to get to one of these rifts, and I'll show you one of the rifts before we call it off. We can actually open this rift over here. So the way rifts work is when they start off, you can see like that. It is called a tear, and then you can run over to it and use an item that you have, or it's an ability you have. It might be. And I got knocked off my mount, which sucks. And I got stunned by 2 trolls. We're just gonna run because that's a lot of guys. I'm gonna like teleport with my little blinky. Jesus, this is not a good place to be. Okay, so I made a mistake. I made a big mistake. Let's go to the tear and see if we can get to it without dying. If we can, that'd be nice. Okay, so tears, the way they work is they are not actual rifts yet, but they can be opened into a rift. And I believe they will by themselves if you don't do anything. So when you stand below a rift, you can use your plan or lure. Your plan or lure to basically make it into an actual rift. When the rift starts, which is what just happened, you get an event when you come into the rift. It'll say rift open, and then it starts the whole rift event. This one is a water rift, and you get a cool little animation as it comes out of the sky and all these giant tentacle kraken monster of death. And then it spawns out all these creatures. I actually can't. I'm going to shoot a couple of them, try to get it over here, and try to kill some of these. So you don't have time limits to this per se, but you want to close as fast as you can, because if you don't end up closing it, it will send out basically what are attacks, and it will send out waves of attacks to different outposts in the area. And your outposts and like all your questing hubs and bases have these nexuses in them that can be attacked by these invasions from the rifts. And if they can manage, like say like this town over here, this camp, the Coterie camp, can be attacked by rifts that will send out attacks to like everything. So there's actually an air invasion over here right now, and an air foothold actually set up. So invasions, rifts will send out invasions and little basically squads that will go and set up footholds in the region that they're in, and they will send out attacks basically every now and then to send out attacks to the different outposts that you have in your questing hubs. And they all have their guards and everything there, but if they can manage to kill off the guards and the questing hub and kill off the nexus there, it will then convert to one of their nexuses, and that rift will basically hold that nexus then, and it will be, say, a water foothold inside this camp. And that camp will be inaccessible for you in questing until you clear it out of all the water rift elementals and take the nexus back over. You can use these things right here, plan out charges. You can use them you get them by sealing rift, and they fuel your special powers. I can use this right here that will give me increased targeted damage by 200%, against Colossi increased damage by 20%. It reduces damage taken from both planar invasions and Colossi by 75%. So this is basically when I'm fighting these rift things. I can give myself a big damage boost by taking up one of these charges up here. You unlock more charges by disclosing rifts. You can also use it to what they call Nexus Evasion. It heals and upgrades the special upgradable unit of the Nexus into the next level and make it stronger and more resilient. And you can use the Flare, which is something that defines attack force, to attack a planar idol, which I can't do because there's no idol over here. I probably just pulled too much so I can find. I'm probably gonna die. Maybe. They're the same level as me. I might die here because I pulled a lot. Let's see what I can do here though. I have all my poisons equipped right now. Yeah, I'm gonna die here. Yep, we're just gonna try running because I'm gonna die. Okay, so I pulled way too many. Soloing rifts is possible, but it's pretty hard. You have to pull really carefully. Because if you pull like the 4 like I just did there, they will totally screw you over and destroy you. Can I see if there's any kind of evasions going on? Looks like there isn't any evasions. We're just gonna leave. I'm gonna be a dick and leave the rift open and let someone else deal with it. We're gonna check out the air foothold real quick up here. And then we're probably gonna call it quits for now. I might come back and do some like overview of the PvP and whatnot. But we'll see. So here is one of the rift foothold, or the air footholds. It has these guardians around it. They are guard the storm idol. This idol is basically what you need to destroy the foothold. You can kill the guards off too around it, but it doesn't kill off the footholds completely. You might have heard my Skype back there a couple minutes ago. I hope you didn't. We'll see. You want to kill this off though, and the foothold will send out attacks periodically to different basically encampments around the area. It's just not good to leave. If you see a rift open in the area and you're questing it, it is in your best interest to close that rift. You get rewards for it. You'll see when you close it, this little thing will light up and you'll get rewards for closing the rift. They're actually pretty substantial rewards too. They're pretty nice. And closing out of these also give rewards. Basically doing anything around these planar enemies gives you lots of rewards. Clearing out strongholds, clearing out invasion forces, and clearing out rifts all give you rewards for doing so, in form of that currency that I showed you, and in form of a couple of little special items you can get from it. So I'm not going to bother with the storm idol right now because I don't want to have to deal with taking that out solo because I'm not very good at this game. I don't play it that often, but I did play a little bit of it because I didn't have WoW time at the time. So that's the rift system. It kind of when you go to the map, you can see that rifts that are open too. This is a minor water rift and it's active right now, and it will collapse in 130 or in an hour and 30 minutes basically. And in that time, I'll send out attacks and try to basically control this area. And if it does, then it screws up your questing, and then you have to basically fight back, take over your questing hubs, and then to fight back and close the rift itself. And it will also set up strongholds in the area as well. So that's why rifts work. It adds a really cool level of depth to the game, is what it kind of does. It really sets it apart from being just a WoW clone that you can obviously tell that it kind of is, but it sets it apart to this kind of cool, its own game in a way. The dungeons, I played like one of, I think. They're pretty fun. They're basically what you expect from a WoW style dungeon. It's a very WoW style game. So basically, let's just kind of go over the, we're going to end the video probably around here. So my conclusions are, I mean, it's definitely, if you like the WoW style of game, but you don't want to pay $15 a month for WoW, this is a good alternative. It has a nice graphic style. It doesn't have the same charm that WoW has, but it looks pretty nice. It plays almost identically to WoW in most ways. It plays very similar to WoW, besides the fact that they do these rift systems. The rift system is a very fun little addition. It can get kind of grindy after a while if you just do rifts over and over. It gets pretty grindy, let's be honest. It actually looks like a bunch of rifts just opened, and they're going to attack this wardstone. So that's kind of a cool event to happen. Events like that will also happen randomly, where they just open like 3 different rifts just opened in the area, and they're all going to attack this wardstone and you have to defend it. And if you don't, then you lose it. It's just as simple as that. So this adds a really cool level of depth to the game, and to just not really, I wouldn't say depth, but it adds a new level of the game that hasn't really been seen before in the way of invading places. Always, it's pretty fun. It gets, when you first start playing, it's really fun just to jump around and fight a rift every now and then and defend maybe one of your strongholds. It can get grindy, like I said, if you keep doing it over and over. So again, if you like WoW style games and the way that the MMO plays, there's actually a water invasion going out right now. It's going to the left though. So if you like the way that WoW plays, and this is definitely a good game to play if you don't want to pay for WoW, I would definitely suggest picking up the Storm Legion Souls, because it definitely opens up a lot more of the game. You also, by the way, are locked out of the auction house. You cannot sell things to the auction house unless you make a actual payment in the game. You can buy from it, but you cannot sell to the auction house unless you make a payment, which is kind of annoying. But you just like the minimum you can spend is like $5 in the game, and then you basically unlock all the little coin lockings you have. And you need to spend more money in the game to pick up these bag slots. So I mean, the free-to-play models, it's decent, but there's a lot of things locked behind paywalls, which is kind of annoying. But I mean, it did start off as a pay-to-play game with subscription costs, so it's better than what it used to be. But I think it's worth giving it a try if you like the style of game. If you don't like the way WoW plays, then there's really not a point to playing this game because it plays a lot like WoW. It feels a lot like WoW, plays a lot like WoW. If you want an alternative to WoW, maybe to take your time off and just kind of relax into it, definitely a game you could give a try. I would recommend trying this game. It's an MMO, so of course it's going to require a lot of time to really get into and to get to the end game, so it depends if you want to spend that much time in the game. The end game of this game is pretty decent from what I've heard. It used to be pretty lacking, but it did pick itself up in that way. So it's definitely better end game than it used to be. It has a good end game. It has raids. It has a typical raiding style. The tiers that WoW does, that's how the raids work. Again, really, really like WoW. It plays a lot like WoW. It's a WoW clone, guys. If you guys like WoW, then try this game out. But why not? It's free to play. It will take a lot of time. It's an MMO, guys. It will take a lot of time to get to the end game. Just play the first 10, 20 levels like I did. If you like it, stick to it. If you don't, stop playing. It's a free-to-play game. I think it's definitely worth your time to check it out. If you don't like WoW, though, and the way WoW plays, don't even bother, because it plays just like WoW. So that's what I gotta say about this game, guys. This video lasted a little bit longer than I wanted it to. I'm gonna look at rechanging the format I'm gonna do for MMO look-ats. I might change them into separate sections of character creation and go in-depth in each section. So there'll be separate videos, like maybe I'll do one on the character creation in the intro video, and then I'll do one on a lower starting zone, and just kind of separate it. That might be a better way of doing it. So I'm going to look at that, and look into what I can do to make this a little bit of a better idea of a series. So this one lasted a long time, and it probably lasted longer than I really wanted it to. So I'm going to look in a way that can improve this idea, or this series idea for MMOs in particular, because they'll take a lot more time to look at. So I might split this video up into 2 parts. And I might, in the future, I might just do separate parts for different types of the MMO, like the character creation and whatnot. So, how would you guys think of this format? I'm gonna change it up a little bit because I feel like this is gonna go on for a really long time. So, that's my verdict, and that's my little spiel at the end of how I'm gonna do this section, or how I'm gonna format this kind of look at style for MMOs. Anyways, guys, this has been Patrick from ExanseGaming, and I will see you guys next time.